Hey, what's good, Zariah, man? What's up?
Get your ass up.
Oh, man, you always be tripping. What's going on, man?
What's good, Red?
Hey, man, they was clowning you at work today, man.
So?
I mean, we watched the video a couple times, but we really couldn't tell if it was you.
Yo, how's your eye?
Oh, it's cool.
God damn! What's up, Op? What's up, Op? Yo, let me get one of them flyers, man.
Man, I ain't giving you shit. You better get the hell out of here before Cat Pop come out here.
Man, come on, man. Why you gotta be like that, man? I'm trying to come to class, man. Why you acting crazy? Man, you need to go do that.
Man, I ain't giving him shit.
Man, what? Man, you ain't gonna give me shit. We need brothers to come to class.
Damn, man. Ite me yato me tara lo tato.
Man, you fucking racist, man. Give me this goddamn flyer, man. You acting crazy, home. Man, fuck you.
Oh, shit. Tebow, nigga.
What? Who?
Tebow.
Oh, damn, I ain't been to class in a minute. Shit. Oh, shit.
What's up, y'all? What's up, Red? Thanks for the bike. What you got on my ties, homie?
I ain't got nothing.
I thought you already collected the time.
I did, but I want Red's 10%.
Stall him out.
What's up, Red? What you got on my ties, homie?
I ain't got nothing, man.
Oh, yeah, you got something.
I ain't got. Hey, man, that's messed up, man.
Shut your ass up or I knock your ass out.
Yo, Tebow, man, that's messed up, man. Give him his money back.
What money?
Right now. The money.
Hey, man, why ain't y'all help me?
Yeah, man, I paid my tithes.
Man, that's fucked up. If it was y'all, I would have helped y'all.
What about the time he took the ties from me in Zariah's backyard?
Oh, that was different.
Man, let's jump him.
Man, sit your ass down, man.
Man, I got mind control over Tebow. When he here, I pay my tithes. But when he leave, I pay my tithes.
Man, damn, man. I should have just paid my tithes, man.
Man, that nigga gonna cry in the car.
He should have paid his tithes.
Shit, real shit.
This shit is endless. What I speak is the truth. I don't care if it's offensive. 12 rounds hit hard, and this shit gon' go the distance. Way to exit cool, but wait till you see the interest. Know that we them niggas when we walk inside the entrance. Put me as the GOAT, you should be honored to get a mention. All my clips is standard, but I still get extensions. Switch on the big 30, sound like when it's spitting. Album so high, I had to give them an extension. One West till they bury me. Yeah, that's the commitment. Don't trust the soul, niggas purring or they hit this shit. What I speak is the
What's up,
truth.
y'all?
I don't care if it's offensive.
What's up, Red?
Life that I chose, no turning
Thanks for the
back,
bike.
no endless. They don't
What you got on my ties, homie?
God damn, man.
What I speak is the truth. I don't care if it's offensive.
God
Life
damn.
that I chose, no turning back. They don't understand when we tell them no forgiveness.
Tebow, nigga. Tebow.
Reincarnation, so you know this endless. I'm solidified and stamped. That's why I walk with a signet.
I went and did tonight. What was
Good.
this?
Be like, man, that's fucked up. If it was y'all, I would have helped y'all.
All right, word. Man, that's fucked up. If it was y'all, I would have helped y'all.
Blameless, and if you ain't the same, I'm against it. Was born with this shit. The other half, I'm just gifted. 20 on me. Wish a nigga would so I could spend it. Start from the branch, then I ain't at the soil. You got a peer on me. That'll leave your family trees for you. Can't catch you. Then
Yeah, that's right. We're in the building. It is the ISUPK. That's the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge out of Harlem, New York since 1969 under Commander General Yohana. And we're here to teach the so-called blacks, so-called Hispanics, and so-called Native Americans that we are the lost sheep of the house of Israel, all right? Tonight's class is a full class, all right? It's a long class. You know what, Salakia? I'm not going to say it's going to be a long class. I'm not sure. It depends on how the information flows, all right? But tonight's class is going to be an interesting class because we're finally going to have the book of Ruth, right? And the book of Ruth is going to be laid out. Guess what? It's going to be laid out to the point where we're going to use a map. So now you actually have a map to go along with the book of Ruth so you can really see exactly what we in the ISUPK is actually saying when we say Ruth is an Israelite. So the question that we ask is Ruth an Israelite or is she a heathen? Which one is she, all right? So the only way we can find that out is we have to examine the scriptures, all right? We definitely have to examine the scriptures, right? Quick question. Do anybody know, you know who Elijah is?
Elijah, the reincarnation of
Nah, do you know who Elijah the prophet in the Bible? Not as John the Baptist, but do you know that you know Elijah, right? Elijah, right? You don't know who Elijah is in the Bible? You never heard of Elijah the prophet of Israel? All right, well, Elijah is a prophet, right? And Elijah is a prophet of Israel, right? But look what it says. If you go, all right, they should be able to see that, right? How's that looking? Let me get a little bigger, see if that makes you.
Yeah, I was just going to say sounds up. I don't know what was happening, but it was on before, and then it went up. Now it's back.
It's back? Hey, can y'all put a 1 in the chat just to let me know that the sound is back? We twa?
Yeah.
All right, so just like I said, it says Elijah the Tishbite, right? But we know that Elijah was an Israelite based on the context of the writing that we read when we're dealing with Elijah, right? Everything is based on context. Everything is based on context. So here, like it says Ruth, an Israelite or a heathen. And it says in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 21, it says you must what? Prove all things and hold fast to what that is true. So whatever you get from this lesson, you have to hold on to that which is true, that which is good, that which is right. All right? You can't take it and just throw it out because it doesn't fit well with you. Once again, Elijah we know was an Israelite, but he was called Elijah the Tishbite. All right? So where we gonna start with the book? Go ahead, you can open up to Ruth 1 and 1.
Ruth chapter 1 verse 1.
Read.
Now it came to pass in the days when the judges ruled.
When the what?
The judges ruled.
Now that's very important, when the judges rule. So it's letting you know that Ruth was written during the time when what?
The judges ruled.
When the judges ruled. So the judges was ruling during this time. So what we would have to do is we would have to look at that time period. What was going on in Israel? What happened? What was taking place? We have to look at the history that takes place that leads up to the book of Ruth, right? Read.
that there was famine in the land, and a certain man of Bethlehem, Judah, went to sojourn in the country of Moab.
Where?
In the country of Moab.
That's very important because he went to the country of Moab. So the whole thing of the map is trying to see where's the country of Moab. You understand? That's very important. It says he was a sojourned in the country of Moab. The country of Moab is also the plains of Moab. So it's very important that you look at a map when you're dealing with this, because you have a different area. You have the land of Moab that's below the Arnon River, and then you have the land of Moab above the Arnon River. I'm gonna say that again. You have Moabites below the Arnon River, but then you have the country and the plains of Moab also above the Arnon River. So it's very important to understand that. You got me? All right. All right, let's go. Verse 2.
And the name of the man was Elimelech.
Read.
And the name of his wife, Naomi.
Come on.
And the name of his two sons, Mahlon and Chilion, Ephrathites of Bethlehem, Judah.
So they was from Judah. Read.
And they came into the country of Moab and continued there.
All right. So now that's very important. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump ahead a little bit, right? If you look at the map, look at this map. It's very important to look at this map right here. All right. This map is basically showing you some things. I'm going to zoom it up a little bit. It shows you the Arnon River. And then it shows you the plains of Moab right above that. Am I echoing?
It sounds like it from here, but
it definitely sounds like it. All right. So it's very important to understand that. So what is this map saying? What is this map right here saying right here? Let me show y'all what this map is saying. This map right here is saying this is what it looked like before the Israelites got there. All right. Before the Israelites came and before we got there, this is what the land looked like. And as you can see below it, it says Moab, right? But then above that Arnon River, the Arnon River is right there in the middle. Let me zoom it in so you can see it. The Arnon River is right there in the middle, right? But above the Arnon River, you have the plains of Moab. And then below the Arnon River, you have the land of Moab. Got that? All right, let's keep moving. Now, go to Numbers chapter 21 and verse 26. I'm going to show you guys why it's called the plains of Moab. All right. It's a reason why it's called the plains of Moab. It's called the plains of Moab. When we take it over, it's called the plains of Moab. When the Amorites take it over, so it was the plains of Moab, and it's always been called above the Arnon River, the plains of Moab. You got it up?
Numbers 21
and
verse
26.
And 26.
Come on.
Numbers 21 verse 26 says, for Heshbon was the city of Sihon, the king of the Amorites.
The king of who?
The king of the Amorites.
Now the king of the Amorites, there it is, the Amorites, right? You see the Amorites. Now he's read.
Who had fought against the former king of Moab.
So he fought against the former king of Moab. Read.
And taking all his land out of his hand, even unto Arnon.
All right. So it's saying that he took all of his land out of his hand all the way down to the Arnon River. So as you can see, that's what it looked like, right? I'm going to pull it up. There's the Arnon River, right? So that's what it looked like before the war between the Amorites and the Moabites. And boom, that's what it looked like after that. That's very important to understand that, is because it's laying out how the landscape was when we got there. All right. And this is what the landscape looked like when we got there. All right. So now I want you to go to Deuteronomy chapter 4. Salakia. Yeah. Go to Deuteronomy chapter. Yes. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 2 and verse 4.
Deuteronomy chapter 2 and verse 4 says, and command thou the people, saying, ye are to pass through the coast of your brethren, the children of Esau.
The children of who?
Esau.
And you can see down on this map, you can see it says Edom. That's Esau. Read.
Which dwell in Seir, and they shall be afraid of you. Take ye good heed unto yourselves, therefore. Verse 5, meddle not with them, for I will not give you of their land, no, not so much as a foot breadth, because I have given Mount Seir unto Esau for a possession.
So the Most High told us, don't bother our brothers, Edom, Esau. All right? Keep reading. Go down to verse 8.
Deuteronomy 2 verse 8 says, and when we pass by from our brethren, the children of Esau, which dwelt in Seir, through the way of the plain from Elath and from Ezion Gaber, we turned and passed by the way of the wilderness of Moab.
All right. So now they're on the wilderness on this side right here of that land, and they're passing by. Read.
Verse 9, and the Lord said unto me, distress not the Moabites, neither contend with them in battle, for I will not give thee of their land for a possession, because I have given Ar unto the children of Lot for a possession.
All right, so now we understand that the Most High told us not to bother Edom, right, which is Esau, and he also told us not to bother the Moabites, right? That's what he said, right? Everybody with me? All right, let's keep going. Go to now we're gonna shoot over to Numbers chapter 21 and verse 4. That's what we're gonna start at with that. All right, and we're gonna backtrack and we're just gonna run through it again. All right, we're gonna run through it again. When we came out of the wilderness for wandering, right? And it was time for us to prepare to go into the promised land. This is the journey that we took, and it's important to understand the journey that we took. All right, you got it. Numbers 21 and 4.
Numbers 21 and verse 4 says, and they journeyed from Mount Hor by the way of the Red Sea.
Come on.
To compass the land of Edom.
Now we just read about that in Deuteronomy. Read.
And the soul of the people was much discouraged because of the way.
Read.
Verse 5. And the people spake against God and against Moses.
See, this is what we have a very good habit of doing. Of speaking against the man of the Most High God and speaking against the Most High. We have a bad habit of doing that. All right. Here's Moses bringing us out of Egypt, bringing us out of bondage, bringing us through the Red Sea, destroying and killing Egypt's army, killing Pharaoh, killing the firstborn. And guess what? We tripping. We against the Most High and we against Moses. That's what we do. Read.
Salakia. Wherefore have ye brought us up out of Egypt to die in the wilderness?
This is what they were saying, right? Go ahead.
For there is no bread, neither is there any water, and our soul loatheth this light bread. Verse 6.
Salakia, go back up to, all right, no. This is what they got. All right. During this time right here, Salakia, where we at? 21. Right. All right. We got the complaining, and the complaining was so bad that the Most High caused the fiery serpent. This is the event that took place with the fiery serpent. You know about the fiery serpent, right? All right. So we're not going to read about that. Remember, we just reading about the travel. All right. The travel. I want you to go up to verse 10. Now, this is the song that they were singing. Read.
And the children, Numbers 21, verse 10. And the children of Israel set forward and pitched in Oboth. Verse 11. And they journeyed from Oboth and pitched at Abarim in the wilderness, which is before Moab, towards the sun rising. Verse 12. From thence they removed and pitched in the valley of Zered. Verse 13. From thence they removed and pitched on the other side of Arnon.
Now, it's very important right here. Here we go. So I wanted y'all to see the actual travel up to where they stopped. All right? Read that again. And I'm going to zoom in on that so they can see it good. Read.
Verse 12. From thence they removed and pitched in the valley of Zered.
Come on.
Verse 13. From thence they removed and pitched on the other side of Arnon.
On the other. Now, it's very important. Once again, stay right there for a second. Notice he says, on the other side of the Arnon. Notice it's not on this side. It's not on the Salakia. It's not on the Moabite side. It's up a little bit. It's up right here in the corner. So it's on the other side of the Arnon River. So it's above the Arnon River. All right? That's really, really important. All right? Go ahead, read.
Which is in the wilderness that cometh out of the coast of the Amorites.
See what I mean? So he says it's coming out of the coast of the Amorites, right? Here's the Amorites right here. So it's coming out by the coast of the Amorites right there. All right? That's really important. All right? Go ahead.
For Arnon is the border of Moab, between Moab and the Amorites.
Remember, the Moabites is below the Arnon River. The Amorites is above the Arnon River. All right? So the Arnon River is the border between the two. The Arnon River is vital in understanding who Ruth was and who Ruth is. All right? Salakia. All right? Now we want to go to verse 19.
Numbers 21, verse 19. And from Matana to Nahaliel, and from Nahaliel to Bamoth. Verse 20. And from Bamoth in the valley that is in the country of Moab.
Now read that again. Bamoth is where? Bamoth in the valley. That is, I got it, Salakia. Bamoth in the valley, that is the country of what?
Moab.
It's the country of Moab. Now, if you look, this is huge right here. Because now it's telling you, we already read right here in verse 13 that the Arnon River is the border between the Moabites and the Amorites. And we showed it. It's right there. Right? We showed it. But now he says, Salakia, it says Bamoth in the valley, right? That is in the country of Moab. So now it's showing you the plains of Moab is also called the country of Moab. And where's it located at? Above the Arnon River. All right? That's vital. That's vital. Verse 21.
Verse 21. And Israel sent messengers unto Sihon, king of the Amorites, saying, verse 22, let me pass through thy land. We will not turn into the fields or into the vineyards. We will not drink of the waters of the well, but we will go along by the king's highway until we be past thy borders. Verse 20.
Salakia. So now, listen to what he said. We sent the messenger. We asked, can we pass through on the king's highway? That means we don't want to bother nobody. We don't want to touch anything that's yours. We don't want to harm anything. We just want to get past peacefully, right? Peacefully. All right. Verse 23.
And Sihon would not suffer Israel to pass through his border, but Sihon gathered all his people together and went out against Israel into the wilderness.
Come on.
And he came to Jahaz.
Now hold on for 1 second. I want y'all to see that what I was saying was right. See that? Jahaz. Jahaz is above the Arnon River. It's above the Arnon River. So that's where they came out for battle, right? And fought against Israel. Read.
Verse 24. And Israel smote him with the edge of the sword and possessed his land from Arnon unto Jabbok.
All right, so we possess the land right there, which you see from Arnon from the Arnon River to Jabbok, Jabbok River, right above. So that was our territory now, right? Go ahead. Hold on, wait. Salaki. Go to 21 and 26. Read.
21.
No, I'm
and
chapter
26.
21, verse 25 and 26. Salaki.
Start at 25. Verse 25. And Israel took all these cities, and Israel dwelt in all the cities of the Amorite, and Heshbon, and in all the villages thereof. Verse 26. For Heshbon was the city of Sihon, the king of the Amorites.
All right. So we see, based on the map, that at that moment, because they did not let us pass by, they came out and fought with us, and we took their land. And guess what land we also took? The plains of Moab, right? We took the plains of Moab. Keep that in mind. Verse 31.
Verse 31. Thus Israel dwelt in the land of the Amorites. Verse 32. And Moses sent to spy out Jazer, and they took the villages thereof, and drove out the Amorites that were there. Verse 33. And they turned and went up against the way of Bashan, and Og the king of Bashan went out against them, he and all his people, to the battle at Edrei.
Come on.
Verse 34. And the Lord said unto Moses, fear him not, for I have delivered him unto thy hands, and all his people, and his land. And thou should do to him as thou didst unto Sihon king of the Amorites, which dwelt at Heshbon. Verse 35. So they smote him and his sons and all his people until there was none left.
No, there was some left.
There was none left.
There was none left. That is important and vital. All right? There was none left in the land. Read.
Him alive, and they possessed his land.
So we possessed the land. And how many we leave alive?
None.
None. We didn't leave none. All right. So let's get a recap real quick. All right. When you look, this is how the map looked before we got there. All right. As you can see, this is how the map looked. All right. Before we got there, we had the Edomites down low. We had the Moabites right above the Edomites, and then below the Arnon River, that's Moabites right there, right? Then we have the Amorites, which was above the Arnon River, right? And then we have Bashan, which is above the river of Jabbok, right? So once we got there, after the first war, this is what we took, right? We took that land right there above the Arnon River. We took the Amorites' land above the Arnon River and to the river of Jabbok, right? Then after the second war, it looked like this. So now we took all of that. Now, we didn't go there and saying we going there and this is stick up and we taking it. Remember, we went there and just wanted to pass by. And because we wanted to just pass by and not bother anything, this is why they came out and warred against us. And when they warred against us, we killed everybody. We knocked everybody off. And don't forget, you have the plains of Moab that's above the Arnon River. All right? Above the Arnon River. Give me Deuteronomy 3 and 4. Because understanding what we going over And people get a little irritated when we talking about the book of Ruth, because we say, hey, listen, we got to look at the map. This is the reason why. Because you have Moab below the Arnon River, and then you got Moab above, the plains of Moab above the Arnon River. And remember, that land was taken from the Moabites by the Amorites, and then we came and we took it from them. All right, let's get it.
Deuteronomy 3, verse 4. And we took all his cities at that time. There was not a city which we took not from them. 80 cities. All the region of Argob, the kingdom of Og and Bashan. Verse 5. All these cities were fenced with high walls, gates, and bars, beside unwalled towns a great many. Verse 6. And we utterly destroyed them, as we did unto Sihon, king of Heshbon, utterly destroying the men, women, and children of every city.
In every city. Verse 8.
Verse 8. And we took at that time out of the hands of the 2 kings of the Amorites the land that was on this side Jordan, from the river of Arnon unto Mount Hermon.
So now, once again, we took all of that. All right. And we didn't even get into the promised land yet. We didn't go to where it was promised to us yet. Remember, this happened on the way there. We just wanted to pass by. And because we wanted to just pass by, guess what? They wanted to come out and fight. And guess what? Boom, everything is gone now. Now we own it all. All right? We own it all. And this is on this side of the Arnon River. I want you to go back to Numbers chapter 32 and verse 1 now. Because now, before we got into this land, now we got to talk about it. We got to talk like we got all this land now. There's nobody here. So, of course, you know what we're going to say? We're going to go to Moses and say, hey, Moses, let me holler at you about this land real quick. All right? Go ahead. You got it?
Numbers 32, verse 1.
Read.
Now the children of Reuben and the children of Gad had a very great multitude of cattle. And when they saw the land of Jazer and the land of Gilead, that behold, the place was a place for cattle.
A place for cattle. Go ahead, read.
Verse 2. The children of Gad and the children of Reuben came and spake unto Moses and to Eleazar the priest, and unto the princes of the congregation, saying, verse 3, Ataroth and Dibon and Jazer and Nimrod and Heshbon and Elealeh and Shabam and Nebo and beyond. Verse 4, even the country which the Lord smote before the congregation of Israel is a land for cattle, and thy servants have cattle. Verse 5, wherefore said they, if we have found grace in thy sight, let this land be given unto thy servants for a possession, and bring us not over Jordan.
All right, so what does that say? What is he saying right there? What are they saying?
Give the land to the servants.
No, to them. When they said we are thy servants, they're talking to Moses, and they're saying we are your servants. And we're saying, listen, we want to get this. We got all this cattle. We got all of these things. Verse 6. Listen to what Moses said. Remember, we didn't get in the promised land yet. All right, go ahead.
And Moses said unto the children of Gad and to the children of Reuben, shall your brethren go to war, and shall ye sit here?
So they're asking, okay, so y'all want this land, but yet we got to go to war to get this land over here. So what, y'all just gonna sit here? Y'all just gonna stay? Go down to verse 16.
Verse 16. And they came near unto him and said, we will build sheepfolds here for our cattle, and cities for our little ones. Verse 17, but we ourselves will go ready armed before the children of Israel, until we have brought them unto their place.
Listen to this. Let me ask you a question. This is the children of Israel talking, correct? Correct? Listen to what he says in verse 17. Everybody got to pay attention to this. It says, but we ourselves will go ready, armed before the children of Israel. Why? Look, listen to the language. He's saying it like he's different from them. He says, but we ourselves will go ready and armed before the children of Israel until we have brought them into their place, and one little ones, and our little ones shall dwell in the fenced city because of the inhabitants of the land. So he's saying, look, they're saying, look, we're gonna go over and we're gonna fight with y'all, but we're gonna go before the children of Israel. I wanted to bring out that language because for some reason, with that language, people think when they hear it, it's talking about different people. It's not. It's just how we talk. It's just how we talk. Verse 18.
Verse 18. We will not return unto our houses until the children of Israel have inherited every man his inheritance.
So they're saying that's brotherhood right there. That's brotherhood. They didn't say, no, we just gonna chill. They didn't say, no, we just gonna stay on this side. They said, no, we're gonna go with y'all. We're gonna go before the children of Israel. We're gonna go before the children of Israel, and we're gonna fight. And once they possess their land, then we're gonna go back. Verse 19.
Verse 19. For we will not inherit with them on yonder side, Jordan.
What's that yonder side of Jordan? What is that talking about?
Above.
That's talking about the promised land. Look at the map. Look at the map. If you look at the map, the land of Canaan, see the land of Canaan? That's the promised land. That's the promised land. But by the time we got there, because they came out and went to war with us, we took all that other land. And we asked, listen, since we got all this land, we got all this cattle, we got all of this, let us get it. Y'all understand? So once again, in Numbers 32 and 19, where he says, for we will not inherit with them on yonder side of Jordan, meaning we're not going to take any inheritance on that side of Jordan or forward, because of our inheritance is falling on this side of Jordan, eastward. You understand? You got it? All right, let's keep going. 33, Numbers 32 and verse 33.
Verse 33. Salakia. And Moses gave unto them, even to the children of Gad, and to the children of Reuben, and unto half the tribes of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, the kingdom of Sihon, king of the Amorites, and the kingdom of Og, king of Bashan, the land, with the cities thereof in the coast, even the cities of the country round about.
All right, so as you see the map, this is the land. This is what Moses said he's given them. This is what he gave them on the Jordan, on that side of the Jordan eastward. Remember, once again, we didn't get into the promised land yet. All right, so we took what? Everything above the Arnon River, everything. The plains of Moab, everything. And how many of them was left?
The king, two, the Amorites.
No, how many people were left?
Oh, none.
None. That's very important. None, right? None. Salakia. There was none left. All right? There was none. All right, so Salakia. All right, so now what we're gonna do is, right? Let me see something. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna shoot up to hold on, let me see something. Go to, all right, look, we went to war, right? Follow me. We went to war, conquered the land, we got the land, right? Then they came back over, right? The purpose of me showing this right now is because I want to show you how long they was there before we get into Ruth. All right, back into the actual book. But do you understand that what I just showed you on the map?
Come.
Everybody understand what I showed you on the map, right? Now I want you to go to Judges 11. Judges 11. We're going to start at verse 1. All right. So we done with the traveling part. We done with understanding how we went around Edom, right? How we went on the side of Moab, on the wilderness side, right up to the border of Ammon and the Amorites, right? Right to that border. And once we got to that border, we asked to go over through the King's Highway. We was denied, and they came out and went to war with us. Then we went in and we killed everybody. And that's dealing with those that was in the plains of Moab, all of that land, Heshbon, all of that, all the way up. All right. So you got it?
Come.
Let's get it.
Judges 11, verse 1.
Read.
Now Jephthah the Gileadite was a mighty man of valor.
Of valor. Go ahead.
And he was the son of a harlot. And Gilead begat Jephthah.
So he was the child of a harlot, but his father was an Israelite, right? Read.
Verse 2. And Gilead's wife bare him sons, and his wife's sons grew up, and they thrust out Jephthah and said unto him, Thou shalt not inherit in our father's house, for thou art the son of a strange woman. Verse 3. Then Jephthah fled from his brethren and dwelt in the land of Tob. And there were gathered vain men to Jephthah and went out with him.
All right, now stop for a second. I want you to look at the map next to it. You see that map, right? Notice where it's at. It's on the Jordan eastward. It's on the side where they inherited it. Y'all see that?
Come.
All right. It's on the Jordan eastward. So you can see it, you can see the river, but the point is you can see that. All right. You can see that he said he was in Tob and Gilead, right? So, and he was the son of a harlot, right? But does that qualify him to be an Israelite if his father was an Israelite?
Yes.
Here's the law. I just want to read the law real quick. This is the law of Moses, the seed of your father. This is Numbers chapter 1 and verse 18. Remember, this is for studying purposes. So a lot of things I'm going to pull because we need people to go back, watch this, and see and put it to the test to see what we're saying is correct. All right. This is Numbers chapter 1 and verse 18. It says, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared. This is how the Most High taught them how to declare their pedigree. You declare their pedigree after their family by the house of their fathers, not by the house of their mothers, but by the house of their fathers. All right. According to the number of the names from 21 years and upward by their poll. All right. So that was a law. Am I saying his name right? Jephthah, he was an Israelite, right? Now, verse 4, Judges 11 and 4.
Judges chapter 11, verse 4. And it came to pass in process of time that the children of Ammon made war against Israel. Verse 5. And it was so that when the children of Ammon made war against Israel, the elders of Gilead went to fetch Jephthah out of the land of Tob. Verse 6. And they said unto Jephthah, Come and be our captain, that we may fight the children with the children of Ammon.
All right, so they sent for him, and he was still in the land of Tob, right? That's where he was at. Verse 11. And notice the map changed. The map changes because you're going to see they was already there. They was settled and they was in already. Go ahead.
Verse 11. Then Jephthah went with the elders of Gilead, and the people made him head and captain over them. And Jephthah uttered all his words before the Lord in Mizpeh. Verse 12. And Jephthah sent messengers unto the king of the children of Ammon, saying, What hast thou to do with me, that thou art come against me to fight in my land?
In where? Whose land?
In my land.
In my land, because that was their land. That was their land, right? Verse 13.
Verse 13. And the kings of the children of Ammon answered unto the messengers of Jephthah, because Israel took away my land when they came up out of Egypt from Arnon even unto Jabbok and unto Jordan. Now therefore restore those lands again peaceably.
So he's saying, look, man, y'all came up here, y'all took my land. Y'all took my land. All right? You took my land and you did it. He's trying to say that they did it without,
like peace.
Yeah, like
Savage.
they just, right, like we just came and we just took it. But we know that's not what happened, right? Verse 14, read.
Verse 14. And Jephthah sent messages again unto the king of the children of Ammon. Verse 15. And said unto him, Thus says Jephthah, Israel took not away the land of Moab, nor the land of the children of Ammon.
So he's saying, look, we didn't take no land. We didn't take anything, right? Verse 16.
But when Israel came up from Egypt and walked through the wilderness unto the Red Sea and came to Kadesh. Verse 17. Then Israel sent messengers unto the king of Eden, saying, Hold on.
So we get ready, just real quick, we're gonna go through it. He's gonna run it down a little bit real quick, all right, what we went over before. But this is good because you get a chance to hear it again and see what happened based on the map. All right, read.
Then Israel sent messengers unto the king of Edom, saying, Let me, I pray thee, pass through thy land. But the king of Edom would not hearken thereto. And in like manner they sent unto the king of Moab, but he would not consent. And Israel abode in Kadesh. Verse 18. Then they went along through the wilderness and compassed the land of Edom and the land of Moab.
All right, read.
And came by the east side of the land of Moab and pitched on the other side of Arnon, but came not within the border of Moab. For Arnon was the border of Moab.
So there it is again. Arnon is the border of Moab. Go down to verse 19.
Verse 19. And Israel sent messengers unto Sihon, king of the Amorites, the king of Heshbon. And Israel said unto him, Let us pass, we pray thee, through thy land into my place. Verse 20. But Sihon trusted not Israel to pass through his coast. But Sihon gathered all his people together and pitched in Jahaz and fought against Israel. Verse 21.
Go down to verse 34. Let's get right to it.
Verse 34. And Jephthah came to Mizpeh.
Salakia. Deuteronomy 2 and 34. Salakia. So I just wanted to give a real recap, but we're going to get back to that. Salakia. Yeah. Go back to Judges 11. Salakia. That was the wrong slide. That slide was in the wrong slot. Go back to Judges chapter 11, verse 26 and 27, 28.
Judges chapter 11, verse 26. Salak. While Israel dwelt in Heshbon and her towns, and in Aror and her towns, and in all the cities that be along by the coast of Arnon, 300 years.
How many years?
300 years.
So we were there for 300 years. This is what he's saying to him, for 300 years. Go ahead.
Why therefore did ye not recover them within that time?
So he's asking them, he's asking the king, look, you're saying that we came and we took this place. We took this land, right? And you're saying that we didn't take it peacefully, right? So we've been there for 300 years, right? And yet you haven't done nothing, and now you want to come and ask us something about this land for 300 years, right? So that's what I really wanted to bring out in that event. You can read 27 and 28.
Verse 27, wherefore I have not sinned against thee, but thou doest me wrong to war against me. The Lord, the judge, be judged this day between the children of Israel and the children of Ammon.
Come on.
Verse 28, howbeit the king of the children of Ammon hearkened not unto the words of Jephthah, which he sent him.
So they went to war. All right. We went to war. All right. But what I wanted to bring out right there was the 300 years. All right. So we see how we travel. We see the land that we received. We see that we went over to the other side, helped the rest of Israel, and now we conquered all of that land. So what you see on this map right here is exactly what we had conquered. All right. That's what we conquered. All right. I want you to go to Deuteronomy 34, verse 1. And I want you to read that. All right. Because remember, what we come to understand based on what we read and based on the map, that we took everything above the Arnon River. Bamath is the country of Moab. And we saw that that was above the Arnon River, right?
Khan.
Deuteronomy 34 and 31.
Deuteronomy chapter 34, verse 1 says, and Moses went up from the plains of Moab unto the mountain of Nebo.
All right, stop right there for a second. If you look at this map, you'll see Mount Nebo, right? You'll see the Arnon River, right? It's above the Arnon River, all right? It's above the Arnon River. That's very important. That's very, very important, all right?
Khan.
Go ahead, read.
To the top of Pisgah, that is over against Jericho. And the Lord shewed them all the land of Gilead unto Dan.
All right, so the Most High showed them. People always say, well, Moses didn't get into the promised land. He was just able to see it. Well, there you go. He was just able to see it, right? In Deuteronomy 29 and 1, it says, and these are the words of the commandment which the Lord commanded Moses to make with the children of Israel in the land of where? Moab. That's very, very important. Deuteronomy 29 and 1, in the land of Moab. Where's that land? Above the Arnon River. It says, besides the covenant which he had made with them in Hebron, in Mount Heron, right? It is clear. Moses died where? In the land of Moab. All right. So we got that out of the way. The book of Ruth becomes easy then. All right. We got to use law when we're reading it just as well. All right. Give me that's Deuteronomy 32 and 49. Just want to lock this in. You really have to drive it home where the plains of Moab is located. I know y'all probably got it, but I'm gonna hit you with two more and then that's it. And then we're gonna get right into it. All right. You got it?
Khan.
Let's get it.
32, Deuteronomy 32, verse 49 says, get thee up into this mountain Abiram, unto Mount Nebo, which is in the land of Moab.
He said it again, which is in the land of Moab. We just saw it. Now we're seeing it again. It's in the land of Moab. And we see where Nebo is at. We see where it's at. Read.
That is over against Jericho, and behold the land of Canaan, which I give unto the children of Israel for possession.
So you're able to see it. All right. But the point is, Nebo, the plains of Moab, the country of Moab, it's all the same. It's all the same above the Arnon River. Now let's go back to Ruth 1 and 1.
Ruth chapter 1 verse 1 says, now it came to pass in the days when the judges ruled that there was a famine in the land, and a certain man of Bethlehem, Judah, went to sojourn in the country of Moab.
That's Toab in the country of Moab, right? So what we gonna do is we're gonna look at a couple myths that we're gonna tackle based on what we know now, right? He was with his wife and his it was he and his wife and his two sons, right? Go ahead, read verse 2.
Verse 2. And the name of the man was Amalek, and the name of his wife Naomi, and the name of his two sons Malin and Chilion.
All right. So now let's look at a couple things. I wanna bounce around a couple things, right? Salakia. I want you to go down to Ruth 1:16. Now remember, it was during the time of what?
Famine.
Right? It was a famine in Judah, and then they traveled to the land of Moab, right? Is it above the Arnon River or below the Arnon River?
Above.
It's above the Arnon River, right? Now, I want you to read Ruth 1:16. Everybody know about how Ruth and Naomi was left. The father died. The husband died. The two sons died. So they were the only ones left, right? I want you to read verse 15 and 16.
Ruth chapter 1 verse 15. And she said, behold, thy sister-in-law is gone back unto her people and unto her gods. Return thou after thy sister-in-law. And Ruth said, entreat me not to leave thee, or to return from following after thee. For whither thou goest, I will go, and where thou lodgest, I will lodge. Thy people shall be my people, and thy God my God.
Now, this is a big one for Christians. This is a big one right here, because it's saying, thy people shall be my people, and thy God shall be my God. How would you explain that?
The Most High power is the same power. When she say, my people, your people is the people of Israel,
right?
And her God will be the God of Israel.
But that's not making sense. She said, I will lodge, right? Thy people shall be my people, and her God shall be my God. What is she saying? And
they worship other gods.
That's not what it's saying. Now, look, let's look at some examples. Let's look at an example first, because what we would have to do is we would have to see what the language was like. All right. So this took place during the time of what? Judges. Right? So it's only proper that we go back to the book of Judges. So let's go to Judges chapter 12 and verse 1. Let's see the language. Let's see if they talk like he spoke before when they said, we'll go in front of the children of Israel, right? As if they were not a part of the children of Israel. Remember that? All right, so check this out. Judges 12 and 1.
Judges 12 verse 1. And the men of Ephraim gathered themselves together and went northward and said unto Jephthah, wherefore passest thou over to fight against the children of Ammon, and didst not call us to go with thee? We will burn thy house upon thee with fire.
All right, so look, it says this is Ephraim. Ephraim gathered together. All right, so here we have Jephthah, which is an Israelite, right? And then you have the men of Ephraim is Israelites, and they saying, look, we gonna burn down our house with fire. It was always beef because we wasn't together. We didn't have unity until David came. All right. And then that same unity fell apart under David's son. But Israel was not together during this time. We were spread it out. We had different judges. All right. So here Ephraim and Jephthah is they going back and forth in a discussion. And they're talking about they'll burn down his house. Verse 2.
Verse 2. And Jephthah said unto them, I and my people.
Hold on. Isn't Jephthah Israelite?
Khan.
So what is he saying? Read that again.
And Jephthah said unto them, I and my people.
I and my people. This is how we spoke.
So they were split.
Yet we wasn't together. So he says, I and my people. Read.
I and my people were at great strife with the children of Ammon. And when I called you, ye delivered me not out of their hands. Verse 3. And when I saw that ye delivered me not, I put my life in my hands and passed over against the children of Ammon. And the Lord delivered them into my hand.
Come on.
Wherefore then are ye come up unto me this day to fight against me?
Read.
Verse 4. Then Jephthah gathered together all the men of Gilead and fought with Ephraim. And the men of Gilead smote Ephraim.
Smoke who?
Ephraim.
So now you got Israelites fighting Israelites. Read.
Because they said, ye Gileadites are fugitives of Ephraim among the Ephraimites and among the Manassites.
So now it's just, oh, it's mad. It's crazy. But the point is, notice what he says. He says in verse 2, I and my people. Because like young man Angel said, we wasn't together then. We wasn't together. All right. Now, the word God, Salakia. Now I'm going to go to a law. Matter of fact, before I do that, go to Yahushua. Go to John chapter 10 and verse 34. So remember, she says, go to my people and my God and your God. So we didn't already dealt with my people and your people, right? We already dealt with that. We see the language there. But what about that God thing? What about that? We understand my people now. That's how we talk. My people, your people. But my God piece, I thought it was only one God. What are they talking about when he said, when Ruth says, my God and your God? Go ahead.
He talking about themselves.
Talking about themselves. They talk, and I'm going to show you. Read John 10 and 34 and 35. Because Yahushua had to check. Yahushua had to check the Jews back then for this type of language right here. Read.
John 10, verse 34. Jesus answered them, is it not written in your law, I said ye are gods?
So it's written in your law that ye are gods, right? That's in the book of Psalms. Ye are gods. Read.
Verse 35. If he called them gods.
If he called them gods, read.
Unto whom the word of God came.
Come on.
And the scripture cannot be broken.
The scriptures cannot be broken. So when she said, my God and your God, what was she talking about? It was during the time of judges. So the judges was the rulers. They had different rulers during that time. So if they had a ruler there in the land of Reuben, where she was at in the plains of Moab, right? And then they had a ruler that was in Judah, right? Then those are two different judges, right? Those are two different people. So they'll talk my people and your people, right? I want you to go to Exodus chapter 22 and verse 28. Because Yahushua said it's written in your laws. It's written in your Psalms that ye are called gods. So let's get the precept for all of this.
Exodus chapter 22 verse 28 says, thou shalt not revile the gods, nor curse the ruler of thy people.
So the gods is the rulers of thy people. The ruler of thy people is who? The judges. So that's what she was saying. So when you go back to Ruth 1 and 16, right? What else that? 1 and 16. So I can't pull. I don't see it on mine. I know we pulled it though. So when you go back to that Ruth 1 and 16, we see there it is. We see that when it says, and Ruth said, entreat me not to leave thee or to return from following after thee, for whether thou goest, I will go. Remember, she was going back to to Judah, right?
Huh.
She says, and where thou lodgest, I will lodge. Thy people shall be my people. What she's talking about is she was an Israelite that belonged to a different tribe than Judah. So she's saying, listen, I'm going back under with y'all, and I'll be with your people, and your God will be my God, meaning your rulers will be my rulers.
All
right, that's what it's saying. All right, now we saw an example of that. All right, let's see something. I want you to go to Ruth 2 and 6. This is another one that we're going to look at what people run to. The tissue, the Moabitish, right?
Ruth chapter 2, verse 6.
Read.
And the servant that was set over the reapers answered and said, it is the Moabitish damsel that came back with Naomi out of the country of Moab.
So they're saying, look, when she was out gleaning, right? She was out collecting, getting food, right? And they seen her. I think it was Boaz that saw her and asked who was it. And they said, this is the servant that set over the reapers. And the servants that was set over the reapers answered and said, this is the Moabitish damsel that came back with Naomi from the country of Moab, right? So when you look at the word Moabitish and you look at the word Moabite, right? These are two different words. Moabitish means, it says you can be a citizen of Moab or you can be an inhabitant of the land of Moab. Which one was Ruth? She was an inhabitant of Moab, the land. She could have been a citizen of Moab. She could have been born there, right? But it doesn't make her a Moabite, right? That's what it was called, a Moabitess, right? Now, when you see the word Moabite, it says a son of Lot by his eldest daughter. The nation descends from the son of Lot. 3, the land inhabited by the descendants of the son of Lot. So when you see the word Moab and you see the word Moabitish, Moabitish, the word Moabitish could mean that she just lived in the land. So based on what we read when it deals with the map, that was simple. That was simple because Ruth was in the plains of Moab, where? Above or below the Arnon River? Where? Above the Arnon River. That's very important. Whenever you talk to somebody, you want to ask them, was Ruth below the Arnon River or above the Arnon River? So now we're going to look at one more thing and then we're going to close it out. I want you to go to Ruth chapter 4 and verse 1. We got to look at this one.
Ruth chapter 4, verse 1.
Read.
Then went Boaz up to the gate and sat him down there, and behold, the kinsman of whom Boaz spake came by, unto whom he said, Ho, such a one, turn aside, sit down here. And he turned aside and sat down. Verse 2, and he took 10 men of the elders of the city and said, sit ye down here. And they sat down. Verse 3, and see, he said unto the kinsman, Naomi, that is come again out of the country of Moab, selleth a parcel of land, which was our brother Amalek.
So that's very important. So it says, selleth a parcel of land, which is of our brother Amalek, right? And Amalek, that was the husband of Naomi that became a sojourner. I want y'all to remember that. He became a sojourner, all right? So he had land, and that land had to go back to him. It had to go back to his family, all right? Read.
Verse 4, and I thought to advertise thee, saying, buy it before the inhabitants and before the elders of my people.
Of who people?
Of my people.
Why doesn't it say the elders of the children of Israel?
Because they still split.
Exactly. Read.
If thou wilt redeem it, redeem it. But if thou wilt not redeem it, then tell me, that I may know, for there is none to redeem it beside thee.
So he's going through the law of kinsmen. right? To retrieve that land. That's what it was about, right? Read. Verse 5.
And I am after thee, and he said, I will redeem it. Verse 5. Then said Boaz, what day thou buyest the field of the hand of Naomi, thou must buy it also of Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of the dead, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance.
All right. So look. Now, this is the argument that Christians make. An Israelite can't be bought. I want you to go to Exodus 21 and 2. All right. I'm just going to get this one precept and then we're going to move forward on it. That's nonsense. I think I heard Sakari say that. Exodus 21 and 2.
Exodus 21 verse 2. If thou buy an Hebrew servant.
If thou do what?
If thou buy an Hebrew servant.
So can Hebrews be can they be bought?
Yes.
Okay, then they can be bought. They can be bought. All right, so look, let's go to Leviticus 25 and 35. That's where we're going to be going. Because remember, there's some buying going on. Buying land, and he's also obtaining Ruth. We have laws that state about how you can purchase and redeem
an Israelite.
An Israelite. All right, we have a law. This right here is simple. This right here will tell you exactly who Ruth is. We're gonna start at Leviticus 25 and 35. Read.
Leviticus chapter 25 verse 35 says, and if thy brother be waxen poor and fallen in decay with thee.
So he's saying if thy brother, which is an Israelite, be waxen poor and fallen in decay with thee, read.
Then thou shalt relieve him.
Come on.
Yeah. Though he be a stranger.
Though he be what?
A stranger.
Come on.
Or a sojourner.
So Ruth was called a stranger, right? Ruth was called a stranger, and Amalek was called a sojourner, right? And it says an Israelite could be a stranger. That's what it's saying. Read.
That he may live with thee. 36. Take thou no usury of him or increase, but fear thy God, that thy brother may live with thee. Verse 37. Thou shalt not give him thy money upon usury, nor lend him thy victuals for increase. Verse 38. I am the Lord your God, which brought you forth out of the land of Egypt, to give you the land of Canaan, and to be your God. Verse 39. And if thy brother that dwelleth by thee be waxen poor, and be sold unto thee.
And be what?
Sold unto thee.
This is talking about an Israelite being sold unto thee. Read.
Thou shalt not compel him to serve as a bond servant.
Go ahead.
Verse 40. But as an hired servant and as a sojourner, he shall be with thee and shall serve thee until the year of Jubilee. Verse 41. And then shall he depart from thee, both he and his children with him, and shall return unto his own family, and unto the possession of his fathers shall he return.
So it's saying what? That an Israelite, if you buy an Israelite, that Israelite can do what? What is it saying?
He can inherit the land.
He can when?
After he get his family.
Right, after the Jubilee. Once the Jubilee hit, you can go back to your land. You cannot, first of all, the land can never be sold, right? Because the land belongs to the Lord, right? But what it is everybody goes back to their inheritance. So that land had to be redeemed. It had to go back to that family. It had to go back to Naomi. It had to go back to that Judite. It had to go back to the child that Ruth would have. All right? That's very important to understand. If you're buying an Israelite, there's a different process that takes place.
Okay.
It's not the process that took place with Ruth. That wasn't, watch. We're going to keep going. Verse 42.
Verse 42. For they are my servants, which I brought forth out of the land of Egypt. They shall not be sold as bondmen. Verse 43. Thou shalt not rule over him with rigor, but shalt fear thy God.
All right, real quick. When you read verse 42, and it says, they shall not be sold as bondmen. They can't, the transaction of buying an Israelite or selling, redeeming, however you want to say, an Israelite is a different process from when you're dealing with heathens, when you're dealing with non-Israelites. You don't have to go through the law of kinsmen. You don't got to do that when you're dealing with a heathen. This is the reason why. Verse 43, read.
Verse 43.
Salaki, you read that already. Verse 44.
Verse 44. Both thy bondmen and thy bondsmaids, which thou shalt have, shall be of the heathen that are round about you. Of them shall ye buy bondmen and bondsmaids.
Read.
Verse 45. Moreover, of the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you, of them shall ye buy, and of their families that are with you, which they beget in your land, and they shall be your possession.
They shall be what?
Your possession.
So they will be a possession. That's verse 45. I don't know what verse 45 is at. So the only thing that Ruth could have ever been to Boaz was what? If she was of another nation.
A stranger, a sojourner.
Right. If she was of another nation and she was bought by Boaz, she could only be what? Read verse 45 again.
Verse 45. Moreover, of the children of the strangers that do sojourn among you.
So that means that if a stranger, a non-Israelite among you have a child, right? Read.
Of them shall ye buy, and of their families that are with you, which they beget in your land, and they shall be your possession.
So what if Ruth was not an Israelite and she was a heathen, a Moabite, she could only be Boaz's what?
Bondsmaids.
Exactly, his possession. That is it. She can't. It ain't that type of ball game where you got to go through the law to redeem or buy a heathen. A heathen can only be a bondmaid. She's nothing. Verse 46.
Verse 46. And ye shall take them as an inheritance for your children after you, to inherit them for a possession. They shall be your bondmen forever.
For how long?
Forever.
Read.
But over your brethren, the children of Israel, ye shall not rule one over another with rigor.
All right, you can't do that. Give me Deuteronomy 23:3. So if Ruth was a heathen, it wouldn't be a fuss over Ruth. It wouldn't be who's going to lay with her and have a child with her to redeem the name of her husband. You wouldn't have to do that. Remember, she's a heathen. She's my possession. It's not a fuss. All right? 23:3.
Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 3.
Read.
An Ammonite or Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord. Even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Lord forever.
For how long?
Forever.
So if Ruth was a Moabite, you mean to tell me you got this righteous man, this devout man, this man of value, right? He's doing all of this for a heathen? Come on. It's not happening. It's just not happening. All right? It's not. Ruth, I'm echoing, Ruth was an Israelite, as we can see. We can see that the plains of Moab, when we invaded that land, we wiped them all out. There was none left. And then we dwelt there. And when we dwelt there for over 300 years. Right? Now you have the story of Ruth take place. A famine took place, and that's where they traveled to. All right? You can see it based on the map. Just follow the map. All right? You got any questions?
No, sir.
You got any questions? Any questions in the chat? All right, we're gonna turn the class over to Precinct Officer Mataziala. How you turn that up? What do you got going? Go ahead. You can start. Turn that for me. For some reason, it's not. You got it. You can leave that. Good. You too loud. I can't see anyone.
Isupk security announcements. Rules for new brothers and sisters. When new brother or sister comes to the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to learn and show themselves in the world. They need transportation. The teacher will arrange after 6 months. If the brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, they have to seek counsel from the heads. Tithe, which is commandment. Numbers 18:21, paragraph 3, 8-10. Means 10 in Hebrew, my Isupk. That's 10% every penny of any increase will give. Priest funds, free will offer for a priest. It's not mandatory. It's whatever amount you like to donate. It's whatever size bottle you like to donate. You take both. All right. Commodity convocations. Next Monday will be the feast of first fruits. All right. So that will be right here at Smyrna School, at the Smyrna School, 202 North Dupont Boulevard, Smyrna, Delaware. All right. So make sure you come on out. That's a high holy day. All right. It's the feast of first fruits. All right. If anyone wants to be a trooper in school, start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. With that being said, Israel, Michael, you said, Israel, Michael Shabbat, Michael, Barak, Yahweh, Shem, Yahweh, Shabbat, Barak, Yahweh, sorry, need to turn. I'll give a sister courtesy salute. And Israel, Michael Shabbat, Michael, Barak, Yahweh, Shabbat, Shem, Yahweh, Shabbat, Yahweh, back dismissed.